Hello, guys. My name is John Danfo, and this is my PowerPoint presentation. The person I chose for my presentation, the subject of my presentation, is Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is actually a Formula One racing driver. He's a British Formula One racing driver. Formula One is a little bit like NASCAR. I know it's not very popular over here, but you might have heard about Michael Schumacher. Currently, he's the all-time greatest Formula One champion. And Lewis Hamilton this year is on course to break all of Michael Schumacher's records to become the greatest of all time. So I chose him for my presentation because I'm a huge fan of his. I used to live in Europe for quite a long time before I relocated to the US. So that is where I picked up on my addiction to Formula One racing. So this is my presentation. At the end of my PowerPoint presentation, I will show you the website that I created, which was also on Lewis Hamilton. He's actually one of my biggest uh, idol. So I just chose him for both my PowerPoint presentation and my web page. So I'll just dive straight into it. As you can see there, like I said, he's also currently he's a six-time world champion, and he's on course to become a seven-time world champion this year. Now, I chose him because of his remarkable achievements. He's his rise from being a child from the age of 8 to when he became a world champion has been well documented, and so his achievements have been more remarkable because of the humble beginnings he came from, how he started, how he got into racing. A lot has been documented about that, and it makes him stand out. And also critically, I would say more importantly, he's also the very first black driver to race in Formula One. No black racer has ever been in Formula One, and he's the first. So it makes his achievements even more remarkable. This is him when he was 8 years old when he started racing with his dad. He was winning championships at that time, so he's had that winning mentality for quite a long time. And then this is when a picture of when he won his six championships. This is every single one of them when he'd won. He started off with McLaren. Right now he's racing for Mercedes. So these are some of the pictures of his various achievements. Some of the things that I struggled with, I found very challenging when I was doing this project, was trying to figure out the different colors and fonts that I'll use. I kept on having to struggle. I mean, this is my first time trying something like this, so I was struggling a lot with being able to choose the right color that will visually look good, and also be able to let my font stand out so that people can see what I was actually writing, what is written on the website. So that is something that I would say that I struggled with for quite a bit, and I spent quite some time trying to get that right. I think one of the things that I would advise people to do is to try as much as possible to start early. When you're working on your presentation, when you're working on your project, to start early, because that is one thing that I would say worked for me in a way. The fact that I didn't wait till a day or two before the deadline day and being able to experiment with different things, that kind of like helped me to be able to be ahead of it. And some of the things that I learned, don't forget your ending tags. Be mindful, like I said, of what colors to use, and to check for typos in your source code, because then you find yourself not being able to figure out, why is my website not working, why is this looking differently, why is this not coming out right. It becomes a whole lot of things that you have to contend with if you are not getting your source codes right. So that would be my advice. My idea of a good website is one that shows, that is visually pleasing to the eye and contains a lot of links, for you to be able to go to other topics that might be of interest to you. So this actually is a web page from the BBC website. It's a site that I use very often, and as you can see, it's visually very pleasing, and so you can clearly see what they are talking about, what information you can get on the website. Now you contrast that with my idea of what a bad website is, and this is typically what I would say a bad website is. As you can see, nothing is standing out. Everything is all clustered. It doesn't look good on the eye, and I don't know who created this website, but yeah, that's my idea of what a terrible website is. And this is a screenshot of my webpage. I'm going to show you the actual webpage shortly. This is a screenshot of just my webpage. I really struggled with this one. I have to be honest about it. I really struggled, and for the most part, I didn't really understand how I was going to be able to get it to come out as well as I wanted it to. So let me just go straight ahead and show you my web page. This is my web page. As you can see, it's still Lewis Hamilton, like I said. That's him in the top left corner on one of his racing days. I'll take you down. I did notice that the lecturer informed, we were informed that we can change something about our presentation, like from the original that we presented. If we want to make changes and make it more pleasing, we can do that. I intentionally decided to keep this just so that people can learn from my mistake. I would want to focus on the font side, the fonts that I use. As you can see, at the time when I was creating it, it looked stylish. I thought, oh, let me just add something more stylish to it. And looking back, when I'm reading this now, I realize that I'm having to strain my eyes to actually read it. So I think this is something that I wouldn't do in the future. I think I would want to use a font style that is more easy to read. There's no point trying to be stylish about it, to try to complicate anything. It's just important to just keep it simple. So this is something that I could have changed, but I decided to just keep it just so that I can talk about it, so anybody going on a project can also keep that in mind and not repeat this mistake that I made. So as you can see, it still chronicles Lewis Hamilton's journey through Formula One. You can see pictures of him when he was a kid, when he was signed as a racing driver to McLaren, and then when he finally won his 6 championships, he's now a big superstar. He's got his own private jet and everything. At the end, at the bottom bit, I talked about his hobbies. Lewis Hamilton is actually also a very he has a huge presence on social media when it comes to racial issues. Obviously, being a black person, he has a huge interest in being able to promote racial equity and be able to bring to the fore the challenges that black people face in society. So he's actually very prominent when it comes to that area. So I've got at the footer, for my footer, I've got this website here that actually takes you to his a biography of his, where you can read. If anybody were to go through my webpage and they want to get more information about him, then they can go here and then they can get to read a lot more about him. I also have a link to his social media page. It's actually his Instagram page. And on that page, you get to see more of his presence on social media when I talked about his interest, his involvement in social issues. So these are just some of the things that you get to know when you go to his webpage. You get to see a lot more about his interest on social media, and as you can see, these are some of the things that he's interested in. So yeah, this is my presentation for my HTML project. I hope you guys enjoyed me taking you through it, and hopefully I'll get to see other people's projects as well, so that I can have an idea which ways I can improve on. Thanks so much, and hopefully coronavirus will go away and then we can meet in class and I can get to see everybody else. Thank you very much.